Hi guys, it's Blackie. Okay, today I want to talk about what happens when you get bit. Because I was talking to a young lady who's doing some extensive hiking right now in the West, and she had a little misunderstanding about what to do in case of such accidents. So let's begin with the smallest. What do you do if you get bit by chiggers? Well, down here in my south, chiggers are a problem. And certain times of the year, there just seems to be everywhere in the grass and everything else. And if you've got exposed skin, they're getting in it. You know, they'll go through socks, whatever. So there's some stuff called Chig-Away that you can pick up. And if you're one of those that just seems to be allergic to them, that as soon as you get near one, they're going to eat you alive, I suggest you go get some of that and become familiar with it as a preventative. But once you do have chiggers on you, I use fingernail polish. I'll simply wash the area and then dab a little fingernail polish over each red dot. That smothers them. And I know there are people say, oh, don't do that, do this. What? Let me tell you, after 50 years of dealing with chiggers, it works for me. So that's my little 2 cents. Next up the list, let's talk about ticks. Ticks like to drop off of leaves onto you as you're moving through thick cover. And that's one of their favorite methods of an animal brushing by and them hopping off of a leaf onto them. So, if ticks are a problem, if Lyme disease is a problem in your area, you want to wear socks, you want to take bloused-in boots into the top of your pants into the top of your boots like the military did to prevent things from getting in there easily. You want to wear a high collar on something. Usually you're going to find them around your waistline if your shirt isn't tucked in. They like to come up there and that's nice and juicy and easy for them to hook onto. So about every hour when moving through such types of terrain, stop and do a quick check. Run around your belt loops, check around your sleeves, check around the back of your collar, take your hat, look and make sure there ain't nothing on it. That's one of the reasons I like a big hat. They drop off the things that get on here instead on to me. And I normally see them come around and start crawling around this way because they're crawling around the rim trying to find the way down, and I'll spot them. Okay? If you get a tick on you, yes, they carry Lyme disease, but there seems to be research showing that they have to be attached to you for a couple of hours before they can infect you with it. There needs to be an exchange because when the tick initially bites you, he's drawing in blood. So it's like a one-way. After he's full, that's when he starts forcing waste back out, and that's where you get the Lyme from. So the object of the game is quickly. If you find one on you, get him off of you. There are tools that you can hook and twist them off. You can use several old methods, but the bottom line is get them off of you. Don't panic. It's nothing that's, the universe is coming to an end. But go ahead and take it off of you. I also recommend if you've got a ballpoint pen, and let's say I pull one off, after I get him off, circle that bite with a ballpoint pen so you can remember exactly where it is. Lyme disease will create a bullseye. If I start seeing that area red, well, that's where he bit me. If it continues to get red, and when I circle outside of it. If it spreads beyond that circle, go to a doctor and say, hey, let's check me, or maybe some antibiotics or something. I may have been exposed to something and the infection is spreading. Okay, that's a little adage that works well in a lot of things. Next step up, wasps, bumblebees, things like that. Bumblebees lose their stinger. So if I'm stung by a bumblebee, the best thing to do is to take the fingernail and look at the direction that the stinger went into you. So if it went in at this angle, I want to hook it with a thumbnail and go against that angle so it comes back out. Think of it like you drove a tent stake into you. Take it out. Don't go at an odd angle. Take it out the way it came in, because attached to the base of the stinger is the venom sac and it continues to pump. So I want to remove it, and that will limit some of it. Usually they're minor annoyances. If you're someone who's allergic, carry an EpiPen. If you know that you're allergic to ant bites or other insect bites, carry an EpiPen. If you're someone like me that's not, carry Benadryl, just in case you do react. Okay? Because in going through the woods and everything, I have come up on a yellow jacket nest before. There's a dead giveaway. You'll start hearing a hum. They'll have a ground nest or whatever up under a hollow log or whatever, and there'll be some of them right there at the door playing air conditioning. That's that hum. Avoid them if you can. Don't stir them up. If you do stir them up, run. Plan on running at least 100 yards. Get out of their zone and they'll leave you alone. But till then, they're going to be hitting you. If you've been hit multiple times, come on out, go get medical attention. Okay? It's no fun. Trust me, I had 11 red hornets hit me in the forehead one time. At one time. It was like he hit me in the head with a baseball bat. I had to go seek some medical attention. So, if it's a stinger thing. But now let's talk about those. Hornets do not lose their stinger, so they can repeatedly hit you. Okay? But there's no stinger to remove. Okay? So kind of learn what's what. Look at it and you can tell if there's a stinger in it or not. If it looks like there's something in it, take your fingernail, press down, hook it, and bring it out the way it is. If there's nothing there, clean and everything, and just use things like stingies and stuff like that to help cool it down and draw it out. Alright? Next one that everybody's scared of, spiders. The most common spider I've been bit by in my life is a wolf spider. They're all over the place down here in the south. This is a spider that has this pattern on their back of stripes. They are not in any way lethal. It's just painful. Okay? And you do not require to have to go take medical attention for it. But if you're someone who's allergic to spiders, period, again, carry Benadryl, again, carry an EpiPen. But that's got to be your case. The brown recluse. I have rarely ever encountered a brown recluse outside of a house. They seem to be a town spider. They prefer to live with us in our houses. And in the fall is when you see the brown recluses. They avoid us, they hide, they get back behind the bookshelf, they get back behind the refrigerator, they set up their little kingdom out of sight, out of mind, and they seem to want to coexist with us. But if you get bit by one, that's kind of the bad one to me, because you typically do not feel the bite from a brown recluse. Now, the things that I've just mentioned up to this point, chiggers, ticks, and everything else, their bite is to either feed, get blood from you, like mosquitoes do, or defensive, like the yellow jackets and the bees and the hornets, and etc. But when we change over into spiders, it's a different situation. What they're actually using as a venom is, in fact, a type of digestive fluid. They can't eat us, okay? But when they bite us and they inject us with that, it causes other problems. And really, the brown recluse is the worst. Because what this does, think of it kind of like an acid. It dissolves us. It makes a big sore, and if you're kind of allergic to it, it can really bloom up very quickly. But it's typically not painful at the time because it's sort of an anesthetist. It's like a sedative. It deadens when it bites. So it may be 40 minutes, an hour later, where you feel, ow, and you look down and you got a red. So if I've been bitten by something and I'm not sure what it was, I keep an eye on it. Pain increases. If it turns dark, if it starts to spread in any way, go get medical attention. Again, Benadryl, EpiPen. Okay? The black widow. I've personally been bitten by a black widow and did not require medical attention for it. It hurt when it bit. And to be honest with you, when it bit me, I thought it was a wolf spider. It got me. But upon investigation, we found out it was black widow. I never ran a fever. I never was sick to it. I'm the exception. Not everybody reacts to these venoms, but that's not a guarantee. You should seek medical advice, because what happens is when it bites you, you're going to survive the bite. The infection caused by the bite is the real danger here to your health, because remember, this is a digestive fluid. It rots out a hunk. So that can turn into gangrene or whatever. And so black widow bites are never to be taken lightly because of that. Seek medical help. There's also a brown widow, and I have heard conflicting reports where they're not sure whether it's a new species or just a hybrid of the black widow. It's actually brown, and the hourglass on it is not red. I think it's actually yellow. So is it a color challenged black widow? We're not sure. But I have personally seen a brown widow before, and they're actually worse. Apparently they do a bigger type of venom. So any of those require respect. Now, where are you going to run into spiders? Your biggest danger running into a brown recluse is at home. You know when you pull that jacket out that you haven't worn since last fall and it's been in the closet? Very carefully go through it. Look underneath the collar. Look in the armpits. There may be one. You know that hat that you got up there in the tops you always wear at the football games? Make sure you look inside of it before you pop it onto your head, because they like secluded places. So the brown recluse is the one you got to really keep an eye out for. And so in the fall is the time to really start looking for spiders, because that's when they're about to go through their dying phase. And they're kind of picking out places to die, you know, because they've got their eggs, they're going to become the food for their babies, so they're looking for a place to protect their babies. So keep an eye out. Okay, now let's step up one. Out west, rodents, chipmunks, squirrels, stuff like that, all of those can carry plague. It's mostly by the prairie rats and stuff. So any place that you encounter rodent feces that you find in a cabin or out in some sort of wilderness backpack shelter or something like that, always be aware of that. You don't want to stir it up by fanning it and we inhale it, okay? Wet it down and wipe it out. Don't fan it out, because it's when we inhale it, that's when we got a problem with bubonic plague, okay? If you get bitten by a mouse or something like that at one of those places, because you're laying there in your sleeping bag in one of those, you know, trail shelters, and something bites you like that, like being bit by a gerbil or something for whatever reason, keep an eye on it. If you show any signs of getting sick or whatever, go to the doctor and tell them what happened. Okay? Better yet, if you can catch the little critter and take it with you, that's even better so they can test it. Okay? Now let's step up to the big feared one, snakes. Okay? Copperheads. Up until last year, to my knowledge, there had not been a healthy adult in the United States, in the history of the United States, that ever died from a copperhead bite. Oh, you are sick. But they didn't die. And I understand there was an individual, I think it was in the Carolinas, that finally did die of a copperhead bite. But there's a question that they may have had other health issues, and this was just the straw that broke the camel's back. Copperheads are usually relatively docile snakes, and they use their camouflage way too much. Most people step on them and they strike, and they have such good camouflage. But usually, even with no medical treatment, you're just going to run a fever and be sick and survive. But should you get struck by a copperhead, remain calm. If you can get to medical attention within the next 12 hours, do so. Just simply pull out, go back to the trailhead, get in your car, go get help. Okay? It's usually not something that you need to call for air rescue if you're in the middle of the wilderness. You'll probably be able to walk out. Okay? Remain calm, minimize your strain, and walk out. Next step up, let's talk about the rattlers. Rattlesnake venom is painful. Okay? When you get struck, you're not going to ask, did I get bit? But the snake can do a dry bite. And if you've got a mature adult, you're in luck. Because quite often it will be a dry bite. They will simply stab you with their fangs without injecting. They know you're too big, and they don't use their venom. So you're in a better position. If you get struck, and learn what a snake bite looks like, because if you're moving through the brush and you suddenly step down in a hole and something hits you, you may think you just got stuck by, a limb or something. But it'll feel a lot like a bee sting. It'll throb. As soon as you can get to a safe location, pull up and look. It's the 2 bites and then the other teeth marks. That's how wide apart, gives you an idea how big the snake. Okay? You're not going to die unless you have a massive heart attack out of sheer stress, if you're healthy, within the next 24 hours from a snake bite. You're not going to be feeling good, but it's not something where I get struck and it's an instant death sentence. Okay? Remain calm. If you got Benadryl, take it to help slow everything down. Contact medical provider on the thing, tell them, hey, I've been bit, I'm coming out, I'm coming to this trailhead. Or if your buddies are with you, get back to your car, go get medical help. If at all possible, get the snake, kill the snake, take it with you, identify it so they know what anti-venom to give you. Okay? If you get bit by a moccasin, quick as you can, because the moccasin's venom is really not that strong. It's the bacteria in the moccasin's mouth that is the worst, and it sets up gangrene very quickly. So if you get struck by a moccasin, as quickly as you can, without risking your life, get to medical attention, because in 24 hours it can go toxic beyond the venom. It's just the bacteria he carries in his mouth is nasty. You know, it's like they talk about the Komodo dragon. The Komodo dragon is, yes, he's big and everything, his bite is not it, it's what comes, is dirtiness of his mouth, the digestive eating on carrion. He bites you and they go toxic, basically gangrene overnight, and he'll just follow you till you die. Well, the moccasin, he has a very dirty mouth. So get to medical attention. Okay? Canines. If you get bit by a dog or something like that, think rabies. Kill the dog if you can, take him with you. They got to examine it. Otherwise, you will have to go through some very, very painful shots. And I would rather not if I didn't have to. And I hate to do that to the puppy, but at the same time, me versus puppy, I hate it for the puppy. I'm sorry. I have known people that have gone through the shots who got bit by some stray dog in a park with no owner, no nothing. They took a picture of the dog right quick. The dog got away. They went. The thing turned red real quick. Looked, there may be something, and they had to go through these very painful shots. So, in conclusion, if you're naturally allergic to ant bites, insect bites, spider bites, whatever, then you need to carry an EpiPen. You need to have a game plan lined up. You need to have information in your wallet. Laminate it. Go to one of those, Kinko's or whatever, and get them to laminate it. I am allergic to, and carry it in your wallet next to your driver's license, so that if they find you unconscious, when they go to check for your ID, they find that. Okay? That would be a big help. I also recommend that for people who are diabetic or have some other medical, situation where if I'm without my medication or whatever, I may go into a shock or a coma. Have that in your wallet so that when the first responders get to you or whoever, they understand what's going on. It'll give them a heads up instead of having just guess. Okay? Hope this gives you some ideas, guys. Please leave any questions or comments below. Until next time, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.